Hello, everyone. Don't mind the dew. I just blew dry my hair, and I'm not fixing it tonight. So, anyway, so what I wanted to talk about tonight is the saying, "Heal what hurt you, so you don't bleed on people who didn't cut you." And it's funny. Like I watched a movie, not funny, but fun, not funny, haha. But I watched a movie last night on Netflix called, I think it was on Netflix, called It Ends With Us. And it's about, well, I don't want to give the story away, but I definitely recommend it. And it may be triggering for some people. At the same time, your triggers are trying to tell you something. So when you feel a trigger, there's something in you that you need to look deeper into to see what it is in you that needs healed. And a lot of it goes back to your childhood. And like as far as me, I don't really remember a lot of my childhood, except that there was a lot of chaos. And I'm not saying like just between like my parents. I'm talking about like my parents with us kids, just a lot of like arguing and fighting and jealousy and this and that. And that you, and then when this is happening to you, one, I think a lot of people block a lot of it out, and two, you change yourself to however you feel as a child you need to change in order to get the love you want to feel or that you need to feel. And sometimes the way we change is basically just us protecting ourselves. And like for me, like my biggest thing I could really recall is that like one, there were four of us, and two, and then there was my uncle who wasn't much older than my older sister, so he was there a lot too. So basically there were five of us, and just a lot of arguing and bickering and messing with each other. And but for me, I remember like my older sister, and I don't even know if I remember it really. I just remember my mom saying like my older sister would like push me down all the time, and she told her, man, one day she's gonna get bigger. And I did, and we didn't get along. Like me and my older sister didn't get along at all. But she got along with my younger sister. And I think for me, like, like I wanted her to love me so much. And, and I'm sure I was kind of jealous of my younger sister because she loved her. You know what I mean? So here's me, like, what about me? And then, of course, like with your parents, there's a bunch of kids and then they work and, they're not there as much as, you want them to be. And when they're there, like, sometimes they're just not, they're busy and they're focused on, like, doing the stuff they need to do. And so, like I said, I'm not sitting here blaming anyone. It's like we live how we feel we're supposed to live to survive. And it's really not even living, But anyway, so for me, there was all this chaos in my life. And so when I got older, like, my relationships would be kind of chaotic, And not all of them. Like, the first couple were definitely, there was a lot of stuff. And then as I, got older, you change and you grow. Well, some people do. I changed and I grew. And I didn't put up with a lot of the same things that I put up with in earlier relationships in my life. But then in my, like, family relationships, like, I don't know how it is for all people, but, like, there was a lot of, like, sarcastic stuff and, like, people that, like, joking around. But it really wasn't joking around. When there's also the saying that if everyone's not laughing, it's not really funny. So there was that. And just so many things. And I'm just giving like examples of things. Like I feel I've healed a lot of my things and I've let go of a lot of things. And I felt a lot of emotions about these things. And it's funny, you don't realize like how these things affected you until one day. One day all of a sudden you're like, what the freak? Like you didn't even freaking know. So like for me, I think I wanted people to love me so much, and the best I could look at it is with my whole sisters, that I wanted that. I wanted what my sister had from my other sister. And like me and my older sister, we get along now. We talked about things and, you know, we're open to, we talk to each other about things whenever it, comes up when we're talking. And so with us, I feel like we've healed a lot of things. And there's probably more. At the same time, like we can actually sit there and have a conversation and, discuss these things and not get mad at anybody, because that's how you heal. You learn how to communicate and understand and know, like, that no one's to blame. Like, you were kids and, this shit's like living in your freaking mind. And, but I was never really, like we didn't get along. At the same time, I didn't really hold anything against her. I just wanted her to love me. That's all. But in saying that, I was a people pleaser. So when people didn't love me the right way, I would try to like do things to make them love me. But that's not how it works. So once I realized this, and I started having boundaries and realizing that I deserve to be treated better than that. And so now I know that I need to have boundaries. And if someone doesn't treat me the way I would treat my freaking self, then I don't need that person in my life. And that's where I'm at now. So my point is, that I'm going to go back to that saying, heal what hurt you so you don't bleed on the people who didn't cut you. And you can't make anyone do it, but let's say you're in a relationship and those people aren't willing to do the work and there's blaming and finger pointing going on. The only finger you should be pointing at is at yourself. And if someone doesn't respect you and your boundaries, then you don't need that person in your life anymore. And there's no blaming or whatever. You just know that you need different than that. And it's not for you. Because everyone doesn't always have the capacity to give you what you need. But you know what you need. And you know what you deserve. Or at least I do. And there were so many times where I used to sit here and be like, I know my worth. And I did know my worth. But I still put up with shit. And that's the thing. Like, when you finally had enough and you're done with shit. So, all right, everyone. Love, peace, stay tuned.